Was I not streaming? Hello world? Am I streaming? Whoop. I think we're live. We are. Finally. Alright. I think we're ready to go. Cool. Alright. How's it going, everybody? In this video, or in this stream, I'm going to look at some widgets. Alright, so I've kind of played around with a few examples just to get a feel for what Flutter is. But, you know, obviously the best way to learn is to break things down and try a number of different things. So I'm going to, in this stream, play around with the basic widgets to start off with. So we've got our container widget, we've got our row and column widget, we've got an image widget, text widget, icon widget, a raised button widget, a scaffold widget, an app bar widget, placeholder, and Flutter logo, whatever that is. I don't know if I can get through all these. I just want to basically learn what they all are and what they all do. I'm pretty sure what a container is, but still I want to read some of the documentation here just to get a feel for it. So what does it say? It's a convenience widget that combines common painting, positioning, and sizing widgets. Let's go to the documentation for this. And sorry again if my voice sounds a little bit weird today because I just came from a football game and I was yelling a lot. So, you know, my voice is probably a little bit strained, but it is what it is. So what we got? Container class, a convenience widget that combines common painting, positioning, and sizing widgets. That's what I just said before. A container first surrounds the child with padding, inflated by any borders present in the decoration. What's the decoration? And then applies additional constraints to the padding extent, incorporating the width and height as constraints. Okay, during painting, the container first applies the given transform, then paints the decoration to fill the padded extent. Then it paints the child and finally paints the foreground decoration. Yeah, so a lot of this is very cryptic. Containers with no children try to be as big as possible unless the incoming constraints are unbounded, in which case they try to be as small as possible. Containers with children size themselves to their children. Okay, so if I was to put something inside of a container, basically it's going to shrink. So what I've got right now, just to make it easy on myself, is I've created this container test widget, and all it's doing right now is just returning a container. Okay, so that appears to make the container currently as big as it can fit, right? Because as it said, that if there's no child in it, then it's going to be as big as possible. So what the first thing I might try and do then is add a child. So let's go child. I don't know what to add though. What do I want to add here? Let's go with text and just go testing widget out. Testing container sizing. Just want to see what happens here when I do this. Does that mean that the container now will be only as big as the text? See, the text is still at the top here. So maybe, see, it's hard to know. What if I give the container a different color? Can I do that? Pretty sure there's a background or something. Let's scroll down a bit. Color, let's go color. Let's just grab this and we'll plop this in here. I'm not sure what color that is. We'll find out. Okay, yeah, gotcha. So here it's green with the text inside of it. So if I get rid of the child and save, oh yeah, I see. So in this case, the container is filling all the way up until I put something in it. All right, yep, that's essentially what they said. So that's great. Okay, I get that. So now what? What else do I want to read here? During painting, the container first applies the given transform. So I'm not sure what a transform is. Let's see if we can add some padding. So a container first surrounds the child with padding. Let's open that up. Open that up. There we go. padding property. Edge insets geometry padding. Empty space to inscribed inside the decoration. The child, if any, is placed inside this padding. Okay, this padding is the addition to any padding inherit the decoration. Okay, so that means I can go padding, and what have we got here? Edge insets geometry. Edge insets, oh yeah, here we go, dot all. I think this is what I commonly see. So let's try 10, add a comma, and save. Right, okay, cool. And there are other options here too as well, right? Dot only. I think only is the other one I've seen before. And this takes, yeah, you can pass in some parameters. So we'll say left only, and we'll say 15. And that gives me 15 only on the left, right? Yep. But what if maybe I can go bottom like this? So I can choose just a couple. Oh yeah, cool. And then I can say top as well. So 10. And the right's not set. And I can probably also specify right. Correct? Wow. Okay, cool. And we can remove any of these, right? Nice. All right, so there's padding. Now I can add some margin too, right? So margin. What does margin take? Let's go back. I opened this up as a separate tab. So is there a margin? Here we go, margin. Same thing. Okay, cool. So margin is edge insets, and we'll go top 10 pixels, and wait, no, that didn't, not pixels. Top, you can tell I'm a web developer. 10 left, we'll go 20, and comma, and save. Oh yeah, fair enough. Now I understand that. All right, what else can we do? All right, so that takes care of, and then applies additional constraints. A container first surrounds the child with padding. Okay, so we added that padding. Inflated by any borders present in the decoration. What the hell's the decoration? Let's look this up. The decoration to paint behind the child. A shorthand for specifying just a solid color is available. Set the color argument instead of the decoration argument. Okay, so I've done that already. I've actually set that color. So what's this decoration argument? Decoration. What does it take? Is it not going to tell me? I'm going to get rid of the color. It's going to go back to white, right? Oh, yeah, actually this is going to break. So there it is, cool. So decoration. How do we use it? It's a decoration object. So if they got an option, if they got an example of using this, so they've got color here, but where's decoration? So they've got foreground decoration. What about just decoration? I'm assuming that I can use the same logic here though. A box decoration. Okay. Let's just grab this and we can analyze it. Whoops. Too much. Too much. Okay. So let's just save that. See if it does something. It didn't seem to do anything. Does that mean this doesn't exist? Example.com/images probably doesn't. No. Alright, so let's just pick an image from the internet. lyraddigital.com/images. No, I'll just go to my website and I'll grab my logo. Or hang on, we'll grab my background. And that's what I'm after. Oops. Face medium. So there it is. Let's grab that. I'm going to paste that into here. See what it does. Didn't seem to do anything. So, center slice. Maybe I'll get rid of this bit. See what it does. Doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe it's because in their example they're not using decoration, they're using foreground decoration. So let's try foreground decoration and save that. It still doesn't do anything. Maybe I'll do a refresh or a resync. Oh, we got an error. What's going on here? No, but it's not using example.com/images anymore. I changed that. Alright, refresh. Oh yeah, there it is. Alright, so I want it to go back to decoration. Because I think foreground decoration is going to go in front of the text. Whereas I reckon decoration is not going to go there. It goes behind. Gotcha. And then, what was that other thing that I had? Hang on. So if we go back, that. Oh yeah, it makes it bigger. Center slice rect. I don't know what that means, but all right. So we got decoration, which kind of sets some kind of background by the look of it, and then we have foreground decoration, which puts it in front. Got it? I won't worry too much about what box decoration is right now, that's fine. If I put color here at the same time, so if I go color equals color, and we'll say, what did we have before? We'll go from RGB, like this. So 1, and then we'll go 2, 5, 5, 2, 5, 5, and we'll go 0. So hopefully it's a yellow, a yucky yellow color. Oh, yikes. So what happened here? Ah, you can't provide both at the same time. Right, gotcha. So if I take this out and run, I didn't get a yellow, did I? I haven't issued it. I'm not overly confident in this reload thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop it and run it again. Because my understanding is that should just work. Unless 1 for RGB doesn't work, maybe it's got to be a different number. So what do they got here from RGB? Oh, 255 is fully opaque. Gotcha. Yeah, so that's the issue I've got here. That's got to be 255. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, that's not an issue. So I'm gonna take it out of. Let's just make it basically green. Yeah. Rightio. And what else can we do with container? So what do we got here? So a container surrounds with child padding. Yeah, saw that. Then applies additional constraints to the padded extent. Incorporate the width and height as constraints if either is non-null. The container is then surrounded by additional empty space described from the margin. All right, so we can set a width and height on this commit. So if I now go width, and we'll go 100, And height, we'll say, I don't know, 60. See what happens. Oh yeah. So let's go 200. I doubt you want to do that though. Like explicitly set things like that. There's got to be some other way where you can factor in the dimensions of the device or something. But at this point, I'm just playing around. And what else? So we've got that. During painting, the container first applies a given transform. What is a transform? Matrix 4, the transformation matrix to apply before painting the container. Okay, so that doesn't really tell me much, which is fine. There's that, and really that doesn't either. I kind of worked out what that is. So we'll continue on. Fill the extent. Then it paints the child and finally paints the foreground decoration. Yeah, so the foreground decoration I saw before, it paints over the top of what the contents are. Also filling the padding extent. So what I'm thinking is I could do something where the foreground decoration is a box decoration. Let's see if I can do something cool. We've got color, and let's see if I can add like a box in this top left-hand corner, top right-hand corner. Foreground decoration, and I don't want it to be a decoration image. What else can I do on box decoration? What else can we do? Yeah, color will do. Is there a color? Okay, cool. Let's go with color. So color, and I'm gonna go color because I don't know how it works yet. From yeah, that, and we go 255 1. Oh, sorry, not 1. 255 00. And we get rid of all the rest of that garbage. And I'm assuming that I don't want the image, so that can go for the moment. We'll just comment that out. And I made a mistake there. Cool. So that's going to be a foreground color, right? And then I want this foreground color to kind of sit in the top corner though. Can I do that? Or do I need to include a container inside of a container? If that makes any sense. Like, is this just literally like a pretty decoration thing that we can only... Is there dimensions on it? Border radius, box shadow, gradient. It doesn't look like... Hang on, what's shape? The shape to fill the background. Box shape. But it says dot rectangle. Circle. I am confused. Box shape. There's either circle or rectangle. That's it. So you're either going to have probably one of these box borders. So box border, box shape. Okay, so that, obviously that's not going to work, but that's fine. That's okay. I'm not too... Oh, what did I do? Oh, that's right. I can't have both, can I? So let's just... What I might do is take this out. For crying out loud. Comment that out. Add that back in. In fact, I might just delete that. And then we'll just comment out this whole thing. Okay. Now, if I want to move it, because at the moment, I'm only just adding some margin, right? So I've got some padding internally, but I've also got some margin. But what if I want to align it into the middle without using a center widget? Can I do that? Because I'm pretty sure the other day I saw like flex box type stuff. Also filling the padding extent. Containers with no children try to be, yeah, you read that already. Okay, layout behavior, box constraints for an introduction on box layout modules. Since container combines a number of other widgets, each with their own layout behavior, containers layout behavior is somewhat complicated. Great. So I start with this one. I think that's a issue there with HTML. Container tries in order to honor the alignment to size itself to the child, to honor the width and height and constraints, to expand and fit the parent, but to be as small as possible. Tries in order to honor alignment to size itself to the child. Okay, to honor the width and constraints, to expand to fit the parent, to be, what? This whole line doesn't make any sense. Container tries in order to honor alignment. Container tries. It's not even proper English. In order to alignment, to size itself to the child. Okay, so my understanding is that the container tries to be as big as the child. I get that. To honor its width and height, okay, and constraints. And then it says to expand to fit the parent, to be as small as possible. Like, what? That's just, I don't know who wrote this, but it doesn't make any sense to me. More specifically, okay, maybe this is better. If the widget has no child, no height, no width, no constraints, and the parent provides unbounded constraints, then container tries to size as small as possible. Parent provides unbounded constraints. If the widget has no child and no alignment, but height, width, or constraints are provided, then the container tries to be as small as possible given the combination of those containers and the parent's constraints. If the widget has no child, no height, no, God. There must be a better way just to mess around with this. This is clearly not the easiest to understand. Anyway, is there a way? So we've got a constraints property here. Oh, we've got an alignment property. Okay, so let's check out the alignment property. Let's start with some basic stuff, right? Let's not try and overwhelm ourselves. So alignment, and this is set to what? What kind of value does this take? Alignment geometry. Does that mean I have to pass it? So they've just called it alignment dot bottom left. Okay, cool. What happened there? All it did was move the text. So is this saying align the children that's inside of it? So what alignment dot center. Okay, I'm going to add some even padding here. So I'm going to go dot all and just give everything 10. Because it is a little confusing when I don't do that. Alright, so it is putting it in the center. But is it putting it in the center like vertically and horizontally intentionally? Or what's center left do? Okay, so center left is vertically in the center but left in the horizontal. So if I go left, so center left but top center. Top center. Oh yeah. Bottom center. Gotcha. And then in the middle, it's just center. That means center in both axes. Okay. Right, but that alignment is not aligning it. It's basically aligning the contents that's inside of it around. Is there a way of aligning it? Right, so what do we got? constraints. Additional constraints to apply to the child. So it looks like you can only really control this from a higher level build. So this is container. You can override the build. Does that mean, I guess you could, but why would you? Why would you want to override the container build method? You wouldn't. At least I wouldn't think you would, unless you're maybe doing something funky, you know, that you wanted the behavior of a container but with extra stuff. Then you probably would, but and what's all this other stuff? Build, debug field properties, create element. Sorry guys, I had a little yawn there. Okay, I think will come back to this, all right? Because I think I've got the basic idea of what's going on with it. So I've got a container. I can set an alignment of the contents. The only thing I probably want to know is how can I align it, or does it work in regards to I have to align its parent? All right. So at the moment, I'm not. I have to wrap something around it, right? Because I don't think there's any properties. Maybe constraints, decoration. So maybe you could do it with constraints. Let's have a look at constraints. Box constraints. All right. All right. So I'm gonna add some constraints here, just to get an idea of how it works. Box constraints, and I'm just gonna do that for the moment and find out what this is. So immutable layout consists of Renderbox layout. What? Immutable layout constraints for Renderbox layout. Okay, so does that mean a container is implementing somewhere? Where is the container? So this is using stateless widget, which extends widget, which extends diagnosticable tree, diagnosticable, and that's it. I don't see where it's got anything to do with Renderbox. What's Renderbox? There's so much jumping around with this stuff. Render object. Yeah. Jeez, what a day. Okay. I still want to understand. So, what do we got here? Constraints, theme of context dot text theme dot display dot font size. So it's got box constraints dot expand. So it's max height. So is that all I got? So there's nothing about positioning in here? Okay. So does that mean, so if I replace, say, this with box constraints and say max height is 60 and min height, let's say 30, and then max width is, I don't know, 200, min width is 100. If I save this, does it actually change anything? I don't tell me about enough bloody error. More bloody errors. So what have we got here? Cannot provide color and decoration, but I'm not. Decoration's commented out. Whatever. once again, I'm probably just going to stop this and run it again. Because I have a feeling this should just work. So I'm pretty sure all I'm doing here is basically saying if we've got room, we're going to make the height 60 and the width 200. Otherwise, we're going to make it, you know, at least 30 high and 100 wide. So what does it actually come out with? All right, so it has increased the size. So if I was to come and say 300, yeah, okay, I get it. And then for this one, I could say 80, yeah. And then basically I'm assuming that if I make the screen smaller and this had to shrink a bit, it would shrink as far as 100, whatever that is. I still don't know what these are, so does it say anything about the units that we're using here? So they're doubles. Is it the number of pixels? I don't think it's the number of pixels. Because pixels are different on a phone and tablet and all that. Like, you're probably not going to use pixels to determine how much space something is set. I think it's all based on DPI and all that other crap, which I'm not overly familiar with. As I said, I'm very new to mobile. Well, not new to mobile. I've done some mobile stuff, but probably haven't done enough to truly understand what's going on. So anyway, it is working. So the other option is to basically go BoxConstraints.expand. So does that mean, what's the difference between BoxConstraints.expand and then just doing this? Does that mean that if I comment this out, it doesn't work? So max height. So the width has grown substantially. I don't know why. Let's comment out all of the constraint stuff. So I don't have a width or a height. Okay. This is weird. Now I'm a little confused. Because my understanding, the margin, right? Margin is left. All right, so I'm going to put all here and put 10 as well. No, we'll go 20 because it is confusing. Yeah, that's less confusing. All right, so it's filling up, by default, it's filling up everything. If I take this out and say I want it in the center, what's it going to do? Okay, cool. So if I set the alignment to center, for whatever reason, that's actually going to expand the container all the way down. And that could be because we want to have the child be centrally positioned within that element. And because we haven't set any constraints, it's grown to fill the parent. Because I did mention something about growing to fill the parent. I'm not sure why. Guys, if anyone's watching and they know the answer to this, please let me know. Because I'm still a little confused on what's going on, but that's fine. But I think, for the most part, I think I'm going to look at the fact that I don't know. Maybe I need to move on. Because it doesn't look like I can align this element within the element. I can only set like constraints for heights and widths and things of that nature. But I can't say I want you to align, unless I do this. Hang on, let's go bottom center and save. So that just puts the text in the bottom center. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Fine then. That's fine. Move on. So that was container class. But then we have rows. Lay out a list of child widgets in a horizontal direction. All right, so I'm going to create a different widget for this. So let's just create a row widget. So I'll go row dot dart, like so. I'm just going to grab all that, and we'll go to row test widget. And for this one, I'm just going to return a row, and just for now, I'll probably put children. I won't put any children unless it asks me to. If I just do this, is it going to fail? Doesn't look like it. So now I'm going to grab this. Instead of having that in the main, I'm going to put row test widget. And I need to include that as an import. Row dot. Okay. Cool. All right. Actually, I just need to use the toilet, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Still not defamation. The cuckoo in their brain. Sorry about that. You gotta go when you gotta go. All right, cool. So I've added a new widget for row. All right, so let's have a look at what row gives us. A widget displays its children in a horizontal array. Okay. To cause a child to expand to fill the available horizontal space, wrap the child in an expanded widget. The row widget does not scroll, and in general it is considered an error to have more children in a row that will fit the available room. Okay. If you have a line of widgets and want them to be able to be scrolled, if there is sufficient room, you should use a list view. Okay. So a row is not meant to go any bigger than the row. That's what they're saying. Sorry, the children aren't meant to go any wider than what the row can take. For a vertical variant, see column. Okay, cool. If you have only one child, then consider using a line or center to position the child. Okay, so a row is if you have more than one, essentially. So let's add some containers to our row, shall we? So I don't know what all this other stuff is. This is just an example. Let's try it. Okay, so in here, there you go, children. And then it's an array. Yeah, okay, whatever. And I'm going to add a container. And wish it wouldn't do that. And we'll give it a child of text ABC. And then I'm going to add another container. And I'm going to give that a child as well of text DEF. And save that. Alright, so it looks like that. So let's add some beautiful colors to these things so I can see the difference. Color dot from RGB 255. We'll go red. 0, 0. And the other one will go green. Color dot from 255. Oops, 0, 255, 0. Comma. Save. Right. Okay, cool. So how do I add spacing between items though? Can I do that from the row, or do I have to apply a margin to the container? Like, is there a spacing option? So we've got expanded. All right, I'll check that out in a minute. Why does my row have a yellow and black warning stripe? If non-flexible contents of the row are not wrapped in expandable flexible widgets are together wider than the row itself, then the row is said to have overflowed. Okay, yep. So let's check that out. So I'm just going to add a few more here. Like that. I'm going to need more. Alright, that's what they're talking about. Right overflow. Okay, cool. So that's the yellow thing that they're talking about. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to undo all that, because it's not what I want to do anyway. So I'm back to 2. Cool. So we've got that. Yep, sure. Why is my array of yellow and black warning sign, blah, blah. Layout algorithms. Layout each child a null or 0 flex factor. Those that are not expanded with unbounded horizontal constraints. Yikes. So cross-axis alignment. Yeah, let's look at some of these properties first. So we've got direction, and it's an axis thing. So I'm pretty sure this is like flexbox. So I've got the row. So if I sit there and go, axis is axis dot, and what? Horizontal, maybe that's not it. What does it take? Oh, it's not defined. So what am I looking at then? I thought it is. No, it's got to be. Or is it main axis alignment? Oh, okay. Main axis alignment. Not container. I don't want that one. So, right, that's not the file either. So, main axis alignment is main axis alignment dot center. So hopefully that puts it in the center. Okay, cool. Now, obviously, I would probably just use the center widget if I was going to do this, but I just want to see how this works. Dot end. All right. Space between. So let's see these. Okay, so that's space between those two things. The space around. This is all Flexbox for sure. Yeah, it's behaving the same as Flexbox and CSS Grid. And space evenly. Yep, gotcha. Totally understand that. And then from a cross-axis perspective, I'm sure you've got a... Is it also main axis alignment? No, it can't be. It's going to be cross-axis. Yeah, there it is. Baseline. Oh, they've got baseline. Okay, cool. So that's going to... Whoa, what happened here? Cross-axis alignment is not equal to... Oh, text baseline is not true. So do I have to go text and set this to true? No. What does this do? Text baseline. Alphabetic. Okay. Oh, so you got to choose how the baseline's defined. Oh, that's all right. So was it text baseline? We'll go alphabetic. Yeah. Right. Okay, gotcha. So, but if I now go center, it's probably not going to move, right? It's not going to move because the row is only as high as the content. So I need to make the row higher. So can I do that? Can I make this higher? No. It probably requires me to put the container, right? So I probably have to, bugger. Probably need to do this, right? Put the row inside of it and make the row the child of the container. Like that. And then on the container, I can specify a height of say 200, not 200 pixels, just a height like that. Right. And if I give this a background or a color, let's go color dot from RGB again because I don't know any better. And we'll go blue. We'll go 200 on blue though, so it's not fully blue. Okay, gotcha. And then the height of this will make 100. And it keeps it in the center. Gotcha. And now if I go start, it's going to be the cross-axis starting position. Yep. And end. And what about stretch? Is there stretch? Yep. So this is definitely like Flexbox and Grid with the whole stretch object option. All right, but that's kind of, it's not taking, because there is no stretch on the main axis. No. All right, so I'm going to change this back to center. What else? What else do I want to try on this? What do we got here? Direction. The direction to use as the main axis. Can I change this, can I? So does that mean I change the purpose of the row? So if I go direction, no. I can't. Doesn't have a property of direction, does it? Oh, is this read only, is it? Final inherited. So I can only get the value of direction. Final axis direction. I can't set it. That's fine. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, the row should always be going from left to right, right? Or from right to left. Well, the properties are there on the row. Text direction. This is interesting. This must be text direction dot, oh, right to left. There you go. So we can change the behavior. Yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F. Yep, cool. What else can we do? Main axis size. So at the moment, what is it? Main. Let's go min and see what happens. Is that going to reduce the, yeah, okay. So the row is no longer filling the entire container. Or is the container is shrinking to fill in the row. So we've told the row now to shrink itself to a min, which has shrunk the container to fit the size of the row. So if I now go max, that pushes it back out. So the default must be max on this. Vertical direction argument must not be null if cross-axis alignment is baseline in text baseline. Text direction, directionality. But there's a lot going on here. Anyway, what else we got? I think that's pretty much most of it, really. What's vertical direction? Determines the order to lay children out vertically and how to interpret start and end in the vertical direction. Is this kind of like flipping it? So if I go, hang on, vertical direction is vertical direction dot down. So if I say, instead of, because I've got cross axis set to center, I set this to start now. Starts at the top, but if I change this to up, I'm reversing the direction of the cross axis. Oh yeah, okay. So that's kind of like doing a wrap reverse in Flexbox. So you say, okay, I'm now going to change it to wrap reverse, and everything is going to kind of, or the idea of flex start is going to be at the bottom rather than at the top. Yeah, that's what that's doing. So a lot of this is borrowing stuff from Flexbox and CSS Grid. But most of it's actually Flexbox. Well, at least what I've seen so far. So, with that in mind, guys, if you haven't done it, all right, and you want to learn more about Flexbox, I'm going to open incognito because I'm already set for that course. So if I don't open it incognito, it's going to log me in and all that other stuff. Go to my course, all right, because I talk all about Flexbox and things about changing the direction of the main axes and what flex flow is and wrapping and how we can control the alignment of wrapped items, which is essentially what I'm talking about here. You know, when I'm talking about vertical direction, changing what the intent of cross-axis alignment.start means, right? So normally when you set up the cross-axis, it starts from the top and moves down, right? And that's if the main axis direction is going from left to right or right to left, right? It doesn't really matter. As long as it's either going left or right to left, it usually goes from top to bottom. But if you change how the wrapping works and you go wrap reverse, then that is essentially flipping the cross-axis around, which is what is happening here. Right? When I set this to up, we're now saying the cross-axis is going this way. Right? So some of this stuff is Flexbox stuff. So I set that back, and now start is starting from the top again. So if I put this to end, like so, then that's going to go to the end. But if I change the direction of the cross axes to up and save, then the end is at the top. To be honest with you, I probably wouldn't do this, right? I would probably never want to change the vertical direction. I'd probably just always leave it as down, right? And then just kind of let it do its thing. But, you know, it's good to know that it's there, just in case one day you do seem to have a reason to use it. So, yeah, cool. All right, so that's kind of row by the look of it. There are other things here. There's some methods and stuff, but I think that's more advanced stuff. I'm not going to worry too much about advanced stuff right now. I just want to get a good grasp of basic layout techniques and widgets. So that's that. So we've looked at row. Column, I think, will be pretty much the same as what we've seen for row. So I'll pretty much just quickly go through this one. I won't spend too much time looking at it. So how much time have I been on here for? Oh, I've been on here for about basically an hour. No way. An hour? Seriously? Well, I might have to end it there, guys. I mean, I didn't get as far as I wanted to. I only got through 2 widgets. But, you know, I'm pretty in-depth with what I do. I like to get in and really nut out how it works. So hopefully you learned something as well. I mean, you know, we only really covered container and row. But I think if you cover row, I'm pretty sure, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure column is going to be set up very similar. In fact, before I go offline, let's see if I do this like so. How much of this do I have to change? Doesn't look like I have to change much at all. So let's give it a save and see what happens. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, it literally is working already. So let's try a few things here. Let's try changing a couple of things. So at the moment, column is only as wide as the content, which is fine. And that could be the fact that that's just how it works, I guess. You know, we need to make it wider in some way. And we can probably do that by using a, what's it called? You know what? No, I think the better option is to go dot stretch here. Yeah, there you go. So if I set the cross-axis alignment to stretch, then it's going to stretch the entire column. So if I leave this out, like so, no, it stays like that. Okay. What if I remove the cross-axis vertical direction as well? Because the main axis size is max, but it doesn't go all the way down. And I'll comment this out as well. I'll comment out a lot of this stuff. That. And we'll even comment out this. Comment out all this column stuff. Okay, so that just puts the items up towards the top of the column. All right. Well, I'm going to set it back to row, because this is the row widget. And we'll put this stuff back. So it looks like it does make a conscious effort. I'm going to change it from stretch to, we'll say start. So it's probably going to put it on the bottom. Yep. Okay, so I kind of understand how this works now in terms of how it's applied. The only thing that I'm a little perplexed about is the fact that row seems to go all the way across the screen, whereas with column, it doesn't. It just seems to go a certain distance and that's it. And that's probably based, oh, hang on. It's the height, right? So if I now come in and go like this, and I decide to remove all this again, yeah, I reckon this is going to go 100% now. Ah, there you go. Yeah, so that's what it was. My bad. I had a height that set a restriction on it. There you go. Cool. Well, I'm going to go back to what I had though and put it there and end the stream here, guys. So thank you for watching, and hopefully next time I will get further into widgets and we can learn more. Until then, bye for now.